If ICE come in here, we're gonna jump their asses. Bitch, I got some air mace in the back. They ain't taking my fans, bitch. Let's go.
Cardi B left at halftime, did not wait for the final score, did not put on a front for the cameras, or sit through the second half pretending everything was fine. She got up from her Super Bowl seat, walked out, and let her exit be the statement. And Stefon Diggs, who had just watched his baby mama Kiki show up to the same stadium he told Cardi was their moment, their event, their night, sat there and let it happen. Now Diggs is breaking his silence, and the way he chose to do it says everything about who he is and nothing about accountability. He posted a photo on his Instagram stories playing Rolling Stone by Brent Faiyaz. No caption, no explanation, just the song.
We all know we should be looking towards the man, I'm saying. Stefon is weird, Nick Cannon is weird. Anyone who has more than like 2 baby mamas, for me, that's weird. But I can't help but look at these women, especially Cardi, and be like, so you knew he had this many kids. If your baby mama 1, 2, 3, whatever, your baby mama like 17 and you still had his kid? It actually, and I literally hate to harp on the women like this because they do not deserve it. But holy fuck, if a man came to me with 3 baby mamas, I'd get the fuck out of my face expeditiously. Oh my god, I'm terrified. I'm scared of you. Oh, because why do you have multiple? I feel so misogynistic saying this because it's like, okay, you're talking about the women, but what about this man spreading his semen, his sperm everywhere? I don't fuck with that. I hate that too. I hate it. How do we stop it? How do we stop it? Also, this is none of my business. Like, this is somebody else's business, someone else's life. But I'm just trying to rationalize it in my head. Maybe I just need to let it go. Yeah.
And if you know the song, you know exactly what it means. I am too wild to be tied down. I have demons. I'm going to hurt you. Do not try to own me because I cannot be tamed. Stefon Diggs posted that song after Cardi B walked out on him at the Super Bowl. Either he is admitting he is the problem, or he is saying Cardi could not handle him. Either way, it is the most cowardly possible way to address a situation he created, and the internet is not letting him get away with it. To understand why Cardi's exit hit the way it did, you have to understand what the situation actually was.
Now that Cardi B is in the situation that I predicted that she would be in, can we circle back around and talk about it? Because when I talked about it, y'all said that she's grown. True, doesn't negate from the fact that she should have set the fuck down. She's been separated from Offset for years. Still doesn't negate from the fact that she just got out of a marriage. She's had 3 kids with this man. She's a public figure. Now she's an ex-wife and a girlfriend and somebody's mom. Now let's get off of Cardi. Stefon had numerous babies on the way at the same damn time. Like, I don't care how in love you are. Sometimes you have got to use your common sense, right? Stefon, he's gonna be fine. Cardi too, but he's a man. You know what I mean. He's going to go lay up with one of the other baby mamas, while Cardi sits at home and does damage control, mental and physical damage control. So for everybody who was like, oh, I'm in enemy territory because I was talking about Cardi, no. You are in a territory where a woman don't like to see another woman do dumb shit, where a woman will speak up and advocate for better choices. That's the territory in which you're in. Yes, Cardi might be rich and Cardi might be grown, but she's still human and her feelings can still get hurt. I'm pretty sure when she walked in that situation with Stefon, she was like, this is going to be different with me. Nah, sis, as soon as you kept that baby, knowing he had other babies on the way, he knew he had you right where he wanted you.
Stefon had a son with Kiki just months before Cardi had her son with him. 2 babies, 2 women, roughly 2 months apart. Cardi knew about Kiki. She knew about the baby. What she thought she had negotiated, what she believed the terms of the Super Bowl night were, was that Stefon's son would be at the game, brought by Kiki, and Kiki would stay home. The child would be present. The mother would not. That is the arrangement Cardi thought existed. What actually happened was that Kiki decided last minute she was not sending her baby to the Super Bowl without her.
I'm not usually one to comment on celebrity relationships, but the Cardi B and Stefon Diggs thing is wild to me because, like, I think it just shows how, ladies, y'all are just terrible friends. Like, I think most of the dudes seen this coming from a mile away of like, why would she go get with somebody who's like basically just like Offset, who could probably get just more women and better girls, better talent in general. But like the women, like y'all was just like bigging it up. Like, oh, she stepped up and it's good for her and she this and that. Like, y'all should have been discouraging her. She needed time to heal, to focus on herself. She went and had a baby with this dude a year. She couldn't even, Offset wasn't even out the house good. I just feel like y'all should have supported her better, like, and just been better friends overall, because like this was clear as day, man.
Stefon got her a ticket, one seat far from the family section where Cardi and his relatives were sitting, and Kiki came. And then Kiki did what people do when they want to make sure everyone knows they were there. She posted Instagram stories, photos from the game, proof of presence at a night that was supposed to belong to Cardi. The second those photos hit Kiki's Instagram, the internet went to work, connecting the dots. Cardi saw it. The fans saw it. And whatever composure Cardi had been maintaining through a situation that was already requiring significant emotional management evaporated.
And that Cardi B said, good luck, with the straightest face. Talking about no smile, no flirty laugh, nothing. That is so me. That was literally so me coded. It was kind of like, I'm gonna keep it cute in the public eye, but I'm still mad about whatever. Now I'm gonna let it be known. Any encouraging words? Good luck. Everyone's saying that they broke up because they don't follow each other on Instagram anymore. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but me personally, I'm never going to follow my significant other on social media, especially if we're public figures, because that's the first thing y'all run to. They don't follow each other no more. Well, they deleted all their pictures of each other. Like, dang, y'all all in the business. Thing with me is, I'ma unfollow you when you irritate me. Now I got the whole world thinking that we're broken up. Whole time, I just had an attitude, and when I get out the shower, I'm coming to lay right next to you. This is another reason why I just think we just shouldn't follow each other at all. That way, we won't be in the blogs every other week. Maybe it's just me, but I like them together. I think they're cute. Okay, I actually see them going somewhere, despite what everyone else has to say. I think they're a cute couple, but I mean, hey, what do I know? That good luck was given, be careful with me, all over again.
She left, halftime, clean exit, and the good luck she offered Stefon on the way out, flat affect, straight face, no smile, no warmth, was the most eloquent thing she said all night without saying a word. What the Rolling Stone Post confirms is that Stefon Diggs understands on some level what he is. He is a man who had 4 babies in 1 year, and those are just the women who kept them. That specific detail deserves to sit for a moment. 4 children born in the same calendar year, to multiple women, by a man who was simultaneously maintaining a public relationship with one of the most famous women in hip-hop and presenting himself as someone capable of the commitment that relationship implied. The people watching from the outside had been saying this for months, and the commentary that erupted after the breakup confirmed that the warning signs were visible to everyone who was not emotionally invested in the situation being what Cardi needed it to be. The conversation that broke open in the wake of this breakup went somewhere specific and uncomfortable. It went toward Cardi's friends and the people around her who watched this situation develop and chose encouragement over honesty. Because the argument being made by people who had been skeptical from the beginning was not that Cardi is not grown, not that she does not have the right to make her own choices, not that she deserves anything other than full respect as a woman navigating a complicated personal life. The argument was that the people closest to her failed her by celebrating a relationship that had visible problems written across every detail of how it started. A man who already had multiple children with multiple women. A baby born to another woman just months before Cardi had his child. A situation structured from the beginning in a way that required Cardi to accept a specific kind of arrangement. One where she and her child would coexist in Stefon's life alongside at least one other woman and at least one other baby on essentially the same timeline. The voices who tried to raise those concerns at the time were told Cardi was grown, that she could make her own decisions, that who were they to question her choices? And those responses are not wrong exactly. Cardi is grown, she is an adult, her choices are hers to make. But grown does not mean immune to being hurt. Grown does not mean the people who love you should stop being honest about what they see. Grown does not mean the warning signs were not real, just because she chose to proceed past them. What Cardi said after the breakup was clipped and direct in a way that suggested she had been sitting with her own version of this assessment for a while. The good luck read like a woman who had already done the internal work of recognizing what she had walked into and was releasing it without drama. Not devastated, not performing, just done. The offset comparison is the one that keeps surfacing in these conversations, and it is uncomfortable because of how accurate it is. Cardi spent years in a relationship with a man who was publicly and repeatedly unfaithful, had children outside their relationship, and generated years of drama that played out in full view of an audience of millions. She eventually left that relationship. She had been out of it for a while before Stefon came along. And the question that people who care about her were asking, privately at first, then very publicly once the Super Bowl situation unfolded, was whether she had given herself enough time and enough distance to choose differently than she had chosen before. The answer, based on how this ended, appears to be no. Not because Cardi is incapable of better, but because Stefon Diggs, evaluated clearly without the filter of attraction and excitement and the very human desire for the new thing to be the thing that finally works, was not a departure from the pattern. He was a continuation of it. A man whose relationship with fidelity and family structure was as clearly visible in his choices as Offset's had been. A man whose baby mother situation alone, multiple children, multiple women, multiple simultaneous timelines, should have been a full stop rather than a factor to be managed. Stefon's Rolling Stone post is the clearest possible window into how he is processing this. He is not apologizing. He is not taking responsibility for what Kiki's appearance at the Super Bowl did to Cardi's ability to maintain any dignity in the situation. He is not engaging with the specific chain of decisions that produced the outcome, getting Kiki a ticket, not telling Cardi, allowing the posting that made everything public. He is posting a song that essentially says, "This is who I am, and you knew it when you got involved," which may even be technically accurate. Cardi did know who he was. The baby situation was documented before she got involved. The timeline was visible. But knowing who someone is and being protected from the pain of watching them be exactly who they are in the most public possible setting are two different things. And Cardi finding out in real time, via Instagram, that the woman who had his baby 2 months before she did was sitting in the same stadium on a night that was supposed to be theirs. That is not a theoretical understanding of Stefon's life. That is the lived version of it. And it hurts differently. The Kiki dynamic is the piece of this that has the most unresolved tension going forward. Because Kiki was not a passive party in the Super Bowl situation. She made a choice to come to the game after the arrangement was supposedly that she would not. She made a choice to post on her Instagram stories knowing what those posts would generate. She may have had entirely legitimate reasons for wanting to be present at a major event where her child was going to be. No reasonable person can tell a mother she has no right to be where her baby is. But the posting was a choice. And the timing and the content of what she posted created the situation that ended Cardi's night and ended the relationship. Whether that was intentional, whether Kiki understood exactly what those posts would do and did it anyway, is something only Kiki knows. What the public understands is the sequence. And the sequence produced exactly the outcome that Cardi had apparently been trying to prevent. Stefon Diggs is going to be fine. That is the part of this that sits uncomfortably alongside everything else. He is a man. He will move through this relatively quickly, likely back to one of the other situations in his life, and the specific weight of what this breakup means will land differently on him than on Cardi. He has options that are already in place. He has other women who are already mothers to his children. His life is already configured in a way that does not require a stable primary relationship to function. Cardi is the one doing the damage control, physical and emotional. She has a baby, a son she shares with this man, which means Stefon is now in her life in a permanent way, regardless of whether the romantic relationship continues. She cannot simply close the door the way she eventually closed the door on Offset. There is a child attached to this, a child who is going to need both parents present and functional for years. And the relationship between those parents, starting from the Super Bowl exit, is not beginning from a place of goodwill and mutual respect. The people who saw this coming are not gloating. The ones who have spoken up publicly about it have been careful to direct their energy at Stefon and at the pattern rather than at Cardi. Because the criticism, if it lands on Cardi, misses the actual problem. The actual problem is a man who had 4 babies in 1 year, who constructed a situation that was never going to produce stability for anyone involved in it, and who responded to the public collapse of his relationship with a Brent Faiyaz song about being too wild to be tamed. That is Stefon Diggs breaking his silence. A song choice, a shrug dressed in music, the most emotionally avoidant possible response to a situation that required something real. Cardi B said good luck and walked out at halftime. That was the more honest statement. There is a specific kind of exhaustion that comes from watching this cycle repeat. Not just for Cardi, but for everyone who has been in her corner across the years of watching her navigate relationships that had the same fundamental structural problem dressed in different clothing. The man who is exciting, who has energy and presence, and the specific magnetism that makes the early stages of a relationship feel like the beginning of something real, and who also, underneath all of that, has made choices about how he moves through the world that are incompatible with the stability and respect that a real partnership requires. Offset was that man. Stefon was that man. And the pattern of Cardi being the one who absorbs the public humiliation while the man moves relatively cleanly to the next thing is a pattern that her supporters are visibly tired of watching. The baby dimension makes this one different and harder in a specific way. With Offset, when the marriage finally ended, it ended. They share children, but the romantic chapter closed in a way that allowed Cardi to begin the process of fully separating her life from his. With Stefon, there is a baby who is months old, a baby who is going to need his father present, which means Cardi is going to need to manage a co-parenting relationship with a man whose last significant interaction with her was getting his baby mama a Super Bowl ticket without telling her and then posting a song about being a Rolling Stone when she walked out. That is not a foundation for functional co-parenting. It is a foundation for exactly the kind of ongoing, low-grade conflict that produces the worst outcomes for the children caught in the middle of it. And the specific way Stefon has engaged with the breakup so far, the Instagram post, the song choice, the absence of any public acknowledgement of what his decisions contributed to the situation, does not suggest a man who is doing the internal work necessary to show up differently as a co-parent than he showed up as a partner. The women who were critical of Cardi's friends in the wake of this breakup were making a point that is worth sitting with longer than the discomfort it produces. Not because Cardi made a wrong choice, she made a human choice, one that a lot of people in her position would have made for the same reasons she made it. The excitement of a new relationship after a painful divorce. The desire for the next thing to be better. The specific pull of someone who seems different until the moment they prove they are not. But the people who love someone are supposed to be the ones who say the hard thing when the hard thing needs to be said. They are supposed to be the ones who hold the pattern up to the light and ask whether this is really different or whether it just feels different. They are supposed to be the friend who says you just got out of a marriage, you have children, you are still healing. This man has multiple babies with multiple women on simultaneous timelines. Are you sure about this? Some people apparently said those things and were told Cardi was grown and could make her own decisions, which is true, and also not the whole answer. Because grown people still benefit from honest counsel. Grown people still need friends who prioritize their long-term well-being over their short-term happiness. Grown people are still capable of being hurt in ways that were visible and preventable if the people around them had chosen honesty over celebration. The Super Bowl exit is going to live in the cultural record for a long time, not because it was dramatic, it was actually the opposite, which is part of why it landed so hard. Cardi left quietly. She said good luck in a tone that suggested she had already processed the grief and was releasing the situation rather than fighting it. She did not make a scene. She did not confront Kiki or Stefon in the stadium. She simply removed herself from a situation she had not signed up for and let the exit speak. That kind of exit takes a specific kind of self-possession. And it is the clearest evidence that Cardi, whatever the circumstances of how she got into this situation, knows herself well enough to know when she's done. The question going forward is whether knowing when she is done is enough, or whether the real work is learning to recognize, earlier in the process, the specific type of man who is always going to produce a moment that requires that exit. Stefon Diggs is going to keep being Stefon Diggs. That is not a cynical statement. It is just the observation that people generally continue being who they have demonstrated they are until something changes the calculus for them significantly. He is a man who has structured his life in a way that produces these outcomes. Multiple children, with multiple women on simultaneous or overlapping timelines. An approach to relationships that treats commitment as something that applies selectively depending on the situation. A public persona that is attractive enough and charismatic enough that there will always be women willing to enter those situations, believing they will be the exception. The Rolling Stone post is the clearest articulation of his self-image. He sees himself as someone too dynamic to be contained by conventional relationship expectations. Someone whose energy is a force that cannot and should not be managed. And there is a version of that framing that is genuinely appealing to a certain type of audience. The man who is wild and free and refuses to be domesticated. The part that framing leaves out is the 4 babies in 1 year. The part it leaves out is the woman who left his Super Bowl seat at halftime because his other baby mama posted from the stadium. The part it leaves out is the son he now shares with Cardi B, who is going to grow up and eventually understand the circumstances of how his parents' relationship ended. The romanticism of the Rolling Stone mythology evaporates pretty quickly when you look at the actual human lives it produces. Cardi deserves better than this chapter of her story. She has built enough, survived enough, and demonstrated enough about her character across her public life that the specific type of man she keeps choosing feels genuinely incongruous with who she is in every other context. The talent, the work ethic, the humor, the resilience, all of it suggests a woman who is capable of recognizing what she is worth and demanding it be honored. And yet the romantic choices keep landing in the same place. Maybe the Super Bowl exit was the moment something shifted. Maybe the specific clarity of leaving at halftime, of saying good luck with zero warmth and meaning it completely, was the moment Cardi's own internal accounting produced a result she could no longer avoid. Maybe this is the last time this particular version of the story gets to play out. Or maybe the next man comes along with the same energy dressed in different circumstances and the cycle continues. That is not something anyone watching from the outside can determine. It is something only Cardi can determine, in the private space that does not make it onto Instagram or into the blogs, when the noise of all of this settles and she is left with her own honest assessment of what she wants and what she is willing to accept to get it. She said good luck and she walked out. Whatever comes next starts from there. The internet already knows what it thinks about all of this. The comment sections have been running for days with the specific combination of sympathy for Cardi, frustration at the situation, and the particular kind of I told you so energy that surfaces whenever a relationship that had visible warning signs ends the way the warning signs suggested it would. What the comment sections have not settled on is the question of what, if anything, changes from here. Stefon posts his Brent Faiyaz song and shrugs off accountability in music. Kiki lives her life in the same city as her son's father and his various other situations. Cardi processes another public heartbreak with a child attached to the man who caused it, and the audience watches all of it play out across social media the way they have watched every other chapter of this family's expanding drama, invested, opinionated, and unable to look away. That inability to look away is what keeps these stories alive long after the people inside them would prefer they were forgotten. Cardi's good luck is going to be a reference point in conversations about this for years. Stefon's Rolling Stone post is going to follow him the same way. The Super Bowl exit is already a cultural moment that exists independent of either of them and what they do next. She walked out at halftime. He posted a song. And somewhere in between those two responses is the full story of who these two people are and why this was always going to end exactly the way it did. So here is where this sits. Stefon Diggs got caught in the most public possible way, lost Cardi to a Super Bowl exit that became its own viral moment, and responded by posting a song about being a Rolling Stone who cannot be tamed. Cardi, who has a son with this man and no clean exit from co-parenting with him, is doing the work of processing a situation that her circle arguably should have done more to help her avoid. And Kiki, whose last-minute decision to attend and post from the Super Bowl started the chain of events, has said nothing publicly. Do you think Cardi's friends failed her by not being more honest when this situation was developing? Or is that placing responsibility on the wrong people when Stefon is the one who created the circumstances? And does Stefon posting Rolling Stone read to you as owning his behavior or deflecting from it? Drop everything in the comments. This is the conversation people needed to have months ago, and it is only getting louder now. Hit that like and subscribe, because this co-parenting situation is going to keep generating developments, and we are going to be here for all of them.